Welcome back to my channel. So in this video I am going to teach you about the Ampere's circuital law. So this is the alternate method to calculate the magnetic field. Our basic method was Biot-Savart law. So in last class already we have studied about Biot-Savart law. So using that Biot-Savart law we have calculated magnetic field by taking the small current element, because Biot-Savart law is not applicable for the complete wire. So we have taken small current element, we have calculated magnetic field, and after that if you integrate that equation then you will get the magnetic field for complete wire. So this we have already studied. So in this video we are going to study about how to calculate magnetic field using the Ampere's circuital law. So let's start. So first we will take here one wire. So this is the wire in which I amount of current will be flowing. So next, after that, this is our point P where we want to calculate the magnetic field. So this is our point P. So next, after that, what we have to do means we have to draw one closed loop which is passing through this point P. So I will draw one closed loop, and this loop should be symmetric in nature. So this is our closed loop which is passing through the point P. For example, if you want to calculate magnetic field at this point, then what you have to do means you have to draw one closed loop which is passing through this point P, passing through this point. So now here I want to calculate magnetic field, so I have drawn the loop which is passing through the point P. So next, after that, this is the radius. Next, I will take one small current element. So this is our current element, it is in this direction dl. And now how to determine the direction of magnetic field means we will take our right hand, place the thumb in the direction of current and curl the fingers. Where the fingers will curl, that will give the direction of magnetic field. So this is our direction of magnetic field. So now if you draw the tangent to this loop, then this will be the direction of the magnetic field. Next, after that, I will tell you Ampere's circuital law, that is closed integral B dot dl is equals to mu naught I. So this is our Ampere's circuital law. Now we want to prove this Ampere's circuital law. So how to prove means, first we will take closed integral B dot dl is equals to, this can be written as closed integral B dl cos theta. Why I have written cos theta means we have taken dot product. So in last class you have studied A dot B can be written as AB cos theta. Dot product can be written by cos theta, and cross product can be written as sin theta. So A cross B can be written as AB sin theta. So here we have taken dot, so here I will write B dl cos theta. So next, this equation can be written as closed integral B dl cos theta. What you will take? Theta is the angle between B and dl. So this is the direction of dl and this is the direction of B. Both are in same direction means theta value will take it as 0 degree. So here we will take it as 0 degree. So it will becomes closed integral B dl, because cos 0 value is 1. So next I will solve here. Closed integral B dot dl is equals to closed integral B dl. Now closed integral B dot dl is equals to closed integral B value, magnetic field at this point P can be written as mu naught divided by 4 pi 2 into I divided by R into dl. How I have written this value means, how I have taken this B value as mu naught by 4 pi 2I by R, this I will tell you, this I will explain you later after completing this derivation. So now closed integral B dot dl is equals to, this value is constant, so I will write outside mu naught divided by 4 pi 2 into I divided by R, closed integral for dl means only dl value we will integrate. Now closed integral B dot dl is equals to mu naught divided by 4 pi 2 into I divided by R, closed integral of dl means if you want to calculate this total dl means this is the length of this loop. So length of the loop means circumference. So circumference of the circle we will take it as 2 pi R. circumference of circle is how much? 2 pi r. So here we will take it as 2 pi r. So here 1 r is cancelled, this pi and this pi is cancelled, 2 into 2 is 4, so this 4 is cancelled by this 4. So now we will write closed integral b dot dl is equals to mu naught I. This is our Ampere's circuital law. Ampere's circuital law says that closed integral of b dot dl is equals to, this we will take it in the vector form because both are vector quantities. So closed integral of b dot dl is equals to mu naught times the current enclosed. Here also you have to write the vector. So this is our Ampere circuital law. Next, after that I will tell you how we got this b value. So first you have to take one wire. This wire is of length xy, means finite length of wire, and here is our point P where we want to calculate magnetic field. So we will join this point P, means we will draw one perpendicular distance from this wire, and now we will join these two ends. This angle we will take it as phi 1 and this angle we will take it as phi 2, and here we have taken one small current element. We will join this point P and this small current element, and this distance we will take it as r. So now after that at this point P, how much amount of magnetic field we have got means B is equals to mu naught divided by 4 pi I divided by r sin phi 1 plus sin phi 2. This equation we have already derived in our previous video. So if you have not seen this video, means you can check out in my playlist, you will get this video. Means if you have taken one finite length of wire and at this point P, if you want to calculate magnetic field for this complete wire, then you will get this magnetic field. So now after that, instead of this finite length of wire, if you take infinite length of wire, means of very large length, means if this wire is of infinite length, then what happens means these two ends we will not get if it is infinite. So if you want to join these two ends in the infinite wire, means these two lines will become straight line, and this straight line will be parallel to this wire. So this is our wire of infinite length, and here this is our point P. So at this point P, if you want to join these two ends, means this line will become straight and it is parallel to this wire. So now this is our perpendicular distance from this wire, and this angle and this angle will becomes 90. This is also 90, this is also 90 degree, means the phi 1 value is also 90 degree and phi 2 value is also 90 degree. If you substitute these two values in this equation, then what we will get means B is equals to mu naught divided by 4 pi I by r sin 90 plus sin 90. Sin 90 degree value is 1 and here also it is 1. So 1 plus 1 it will be 2. So now B value can be written as mu naught divided by 4 pi 2 into I divided by r. So this value I have taken here in place of B. So next after that, where this Ampere circuital law is more useful. Actually this Ampere circuital law is applicable in all cases, but it is useful in special cases like first case B is tangential, non-zero and constant. Next, B is normal to dl. First case, what it shows, first this is special case, what it says means B is tangential, non-zero and constant. Means if this is our loop, for this loop B should be tangential, means this for this loop this B should be tangential, means 90 degree, and next non-zero means this B value should not be 0 and it should be constant. In that case Ampere circuital law holds good. B is normal to dl means this B value is perpendicular to dl. If this B is perpendicular to dl means cos theta will becomes cos 90, cos 90 will becomes 0, means in this case closed integral B dot dl value will get it as 0. So in this case also Ampere circuital law holds good. Next, B vanishes means if there is no magnetic field, in that case also the closed integral of B dot dl will becomes 0. And next, fourth, law is applicable for higher symmetry. Why I have written higher symmetry means this law is applicable for higher symmetry means here we have taken one closed loop. So this closed loop should be drawn in such a way that this loop should be symmetric in nature. If it is symmetric, then our mathematical calculations will be easy. If it is non-symmetric, means our mathematical calculations will become very complex. So for that reason we will prefer for the symmetric loops. So this is about the law is applicable for higher symmetry. So next I will tell you, here I have taken only a single wire, means only one current will be flowing. So instead of this one current, if we are having two wire, and in that two wire one current is in upward and the other current is in the downward, means both the currents are in the opposite direction. So in that case, how to calculate the magnetic field and how to determine whether I1 is positive and I2 is positive. So how to determine that I will tell you here. So here I will take two wires, means in that current will be flowing. So first current I will take inward. This is our inward current I1 and the other is outward, and this is our I2 current. So now here the magnetic field will be formed like this. And this magnetic field direction we will take in the clockwise direction. So now after that, how to take I1 and I2 values, means positive, negative, how to understand, means whether this I1 is positive or I2 is positive, how to know, means what we will do, we will take our right hand, we will curl the fingers in the direction of the magnetic field, means in which direction the magnetic field is there, in that direction we will curl the fingers. And this thumb we will see, this thumb is pointing inward. If this thumb is pointing inward, means this current will be taken as positive and the other current will take it as the negative. Suppose instead of this clockwise magnetic field, if it is anti-clockwise, means this magnetic field is in the anti-clockwise direction, then what we will do means we will curl the fingers in the anti-clockwise direction. So when you curl the fingers in anti-clockwise direction, see this thumb is pointing outward. Outward means this outward current we will take it as positive, means this I2 value will take it as positive and the other current will take it as the negative. So in this way we will determine the directions of the current, means we will take positive and negative. So here if you take small current element here, so this is the direction of the magnetic field. Here if you take the current element, then this will be the direction of the magnetic field. Here if you take the current element, then this will be the direction of magnetic field. Means in all the cases the magnetic field direction will be same. So this is how we will calculate the direction and we will take the positive and negative signs of these two current. So after that, if we want to calculate net current, means net current I can be taken as I1 plus I2. Because in Ampere's circular law, what this law says, that means closed integral of B dot dl is equals to mu naught times the net current enclosed. Net current enclosed means inside this loop how many currents are flowing, that net current we have to take here. So if you want to calculate net current, means you have to use this method and you have to determine the direction of current and you have to take positive and negative current, and then you will get the net current. If it is in case of more wire, here we have taken single wire, so here there is no issue of the positive and negative current. If there are more than one wire, then you have to go for this method. So this is all about the Ampere circular law. So in next class we will discuss about the applications of the Ampere circular law. Means using this Ampere circular law we will calculate magnetic field for the wire of infinite length, means infinite length of wire we will take, because of that how much amount of magnetic field will be formed. And next second case is we will take the cylinder, and we will calculate the magnetic field on the cylinder, inside the cylinder, outside the cylinder, how the magnetic field strength is varying, that all we will do the calculation. So stay tuned.